Hi guys, I'm Bri.
And I'm Alli. This is Offscript.
If you think about it, books are potential scripts for movies.
When this adaptation happens, typically it's disappointing because they went off script.
In this series, we will be talking about how off script they went. Hello
Welcome.
to Off Script.
Today we have a awesome episode.
Because I'm Bri,
And I'm Alli.
and this is
Cassidy.
Yes. Our good friend from middle school.
middle school.
We went to the same elementary school, but I don't know if we really knew each other.
No, not really.
No, but
I knew your mom.
yeah, everybody knew my mom.
I knew your mom.
She's like me now. Like all the kids know me at school. They're like, oh God, you're.
You just said she's like me when you're flipped. You're like her.
That's true. You're right. But yeah, everybody knew my mom. But today we are doing The Sea of Monsters, or as the movie calls it, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. So this one they actually changed the name. So that, I mean, sort of. And it's season 4, episode 18.
I was going to say, so my dad always makes us backgrounds. And for the Percy Jackson ones, because if he's not into it, he just kind of is like, whatever. And so
Scuba stuff.
he did AI with this, right?
Oh, is that how he does them? He does AI?
Now that John has introduced him to AI, like images, yes. Before he would actually go into Paint and make them for us. But he made this. And today I was looking at it and I was like, my dad literally did what the filmmakers did. Basically, he was like, took the name and ran with it.
My stepdad's been making EDM music with AI.
Oh, no. That's awesome.
Like the latest one he showed me, it had like Ewoks, or looked like Ewoks in a village, and it's actually a pretty good song. Sounds good.
AI, gosh. Man, taking over everything.
Nope. You kind of teased that you guys wouldn't even be friends if it weren't for Percy Jackson. So how did you guys...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because he was my reading buddy. Do you even remember this?
In middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I left.
Yeah, you jerk. He was the only kid in that class that I actually enjoyed talking to.
Well, then you just left the class?
Well, because I passed, like, at a certain credit, so I didn't have to take reading. So I either did another elective or I did PE or something like that.
Oh.
I know, and I was so upset. I was like, why are you leaving me? I don't want to be in this class either. Because I felt like I could read laps around all those kids.
I was going to say, why were you in a reading class when you were like AP and honors in high school?
It's because I had moved from one school to the next school.
It wasn't the Wassel, was it?
No, I think it was just like
a credit thing.
I think so. I think somehow the Jason Lee credits didn't match up with the Meeker ones or whatever. Or like it was a class that I had to take to be able to progress in their like language arts or whatever. But man, it sucked. I was like, I'm not supposed to be in this class.
Bummer.
Yeah, there I was. Yeah. But no, some of my earliest memories with Percy Jackson is talking to you about him.
Aw.
Cassie's like, I don't even remember those conversations.
I remember very specific things, but that's not one of them.
He's like, cool story.
Cool story, bro. That's not what
But I remember reading class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember calling you my reading buddy.
And Miss Webster.
Yes, I remember Miss Webster.
Mm-hmm. I loved her. She was very nice, except for, like I said, I was in that stupid class. Stupid Jason Lee.
No, but I do remember with Miss Webster how we had to do AR, and I was like, well, I'm just going to test on all the Harry Potter books because I know them. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're such a great reader. And I'm like, I mean, I've read these books like 20 times.
I haven't read them recently.
Yeah, at all.
I'm just testing on these. Wow. There you were cheating. There I was reading the books.
I know. Oh, man.
I remember some kids would just like test out Cat in the Hat type, like Dr.
Oh my gosh.
Just to get easy points.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if I was running behind on because sometimes I would pick books that were too long and I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to test for this like in the next testing bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would be like, okay, I just need one that's 5 points.
Oh, man. Anyways, so you weren't here
Well
last.
then,
Oh, so you go.
no, I was gonna ask then, since you have very specific memories, what are your first memories of me and Allie? Like our friendship with you?
Let's put you on the spot.
Well,
Well, duh.
I think my first was the reading class.
Yeah.
I don't really remember you much before that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there before that.
Yeah. And then with Allie, I remember seeing her around like middle school, but I didn't talk to her until becoming friends with Kayla, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
I think
yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
Because same. That's my memory is
Yeah.
Kayla.
Oh, Kayla.
Anyways,
Now you can ask. him.
so since you weren't here last week, what are your thoughts, overall thoughts about the Lightning Thief movie and book comparison?
4. I haven't seen The Lightning Thief that recently, but from what I remember, they changed a lot of the major like key points, especially
They
towards
did
the
such
end.
shitty job.
And I think that's one of the reasons. So I didn't watch The Sea of Monsters until last night, and I remember why.
Yes.
I just chose not to watch it.
Yes. I saw this movie once and it was so bad that I never watched it again. But then doing this, I was like, it can't be worse than The Lightning Thief. And then
Yeah, and
watched it and I was like, oh,
then
it
because I went through the book again like right before watching the movie, so everything's like
fresh.
no,
Welcome to our lives.
Yeah.
But I was sharing last week that a vivid memory is that I hadn't read it when we went to see it in theaters, and I went with you, Cameron, and Richard.
Oh yeah.
And I just was like, oh wow, like enjoying the movie, and I hear you guys are like, what the hell? What? No, what is happening? And I was just like, what is happening? And so
I feel like if you didn't read the book, it's probably an entertaining movie,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it just strays so far. It's like, how do you continue with the series when you didn't follow
There's
major
legit-
key points?
right.
Well, I feel like this one too. They're like, oh shit, we didn't do this in the last one, so we should do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
All right.
Okie dokie. Let's do it. Okay, so our synopsis is: in order to restore their dying safe haven, the son of Poseidon and his friends, they don't even, I copy and pasted, they didn't even say. Percy Jackson and his friends embark on the quest to the Sea of Monsters to find the mythical Golden Fleece, all while trying to stop an ancient evil from arising.
Mm-hmm.
Author is Rick Riordan. Yeah, did I say it right this time?
Mm-hmm.
Director Thor. Oh gosh,
Freudenthal?
what?
Because that's like Freud.
Freudenthal.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Sure.
We should have had the dude who speaks German say it.
From
Hey.
12 years ago,
Yeah.
13 years ago.
I can
Yes.
count to 10. Probably higher than that.
Screenplay writer Mark Guggenheim.
I would say Guggenheim.
Okay. What is up with all these
German.
German names? And Jesse Bernstein. It's the audiobook reader. Sorry. Yeah, let me finish that part. Same as last time.
Good job.
Movie came out April 1st, 2006. Nope, that's the book. The book came out April. Movie, that would have made sense for the movie. It'd been like a
Fools.
joke. Yeah.
For all you fans out there.
That is the book, unfortunately. The movie came out August 7th, 2013. That's a 7-year difference.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a 3-year difference from the last movie, which I found
That's
interesting.
shocking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet they had to convince a lot of people to let them make it.
Because they screwed it up so bad.
Yeah.
I know. I wonder. Okay. So when authors give their rights away, or not away, but like sell them, do they sell them for the series or did he only sell it for that one book?
Well, who's to say? We would have to look into it. I would assume with how much he disliked the first one,
He had to have done.
accidentally, you probably went into that deal thinking, this is so great for my book series. Gave all the rights.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think he learned with the new series he just put out.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
You
Cassidy,
guys can chat.
which did you do first?
I read the books first,
Yeah, same.
and I just watched the movie yesterday. So
For the first
So-
time.
This is fresh takes from
Yes.
Cassidy.
very fresh.
I don't know what I did first because I thought I watched the movie first, but then when I read the book, I'm like, oh no, I remember this and this and this, but I can't remember if I read it after or before. But I'm gonna say I watched the movie first because
She didn't remember the book well enough.
yeah, and that's what I did this time. So
Mhm.
Yeah, rereading the book definitely had refreshers. I was like, oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
oh yeah.
I know, exactly. I'm always like, oh, I remember this. Or like I'll get to a part which will trigger a memory from like further on in the book. And I'm like, oh, this is coming up. I can't wait.
This is a fun fact, but when I watched the movie, when I got towards the end of the movie and how they did the movie, I was like, wait, did this happen? I had to go back into the book. I'm like, yeah, I knew I
You're like, hold on. All right, Cassidy, now that we've read and seen the movie, what are your initial thoughts of the story?
From the book or the movie?
right.
Very good
Normally we can
point.
just do an in general, but this
Yeah.
one has such different.
Yeah, it's basically book and movie.
So, what got me into the series in general was the Greek mythology. I
Mhm.
was really
Mhm.
interested in that when I was younger, and to incorporate that into like a more modern time was pretty cool. Again, if I had just watched the movie without reading the book, I would have thought the movie was entertaining and cool, but it just seems so different from the book.
Actually,
Well,
your answer is basically my answer.
Mhm.
I mean, they've got some things in common, but a lot of it's changed.
I feel like the characters are the same. The characters' names are the same. The title's kind of the same. And Percy is Poseidon's son.
Right?
Right.
Why did we pick this book
That's-
and movie? That's because it's a sequel.
Right.
And we did
We had
Percy
to.
Jackson last week.
Okay. I'm going to go. It might take a little while, but here's one. Okay.
Okay.
So here's Allie's super fun facts on the fly. All right, we got special effects makeup company Studio ADI created other live action monsters that did not make the final film. So they made the Manticore.
Oh.
They made a Lydian Draken. They made a Boar Man. And they made Argus? And they all like, I don't know if they casted these people.
I know. I'm like, now I'm
Because
trying to
they have
remember them
people.
in the movie.
Argus was supposed to be like this bear person.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
that
right.
was following Luke.
Because
Yeah.
they have
Oh,
names
so
after
I bet
each.
you it was a stupid orc on the yacht.
Oh gosh, probably.
I saw them and I was like, wait a minute, what movie? am I
Yeah, it looked like
watching?
a zombie orc thing. It was like super gray.
Yep.
Right?
You've watched the new series, right?
Yeah,
You like it?
I did.
It does it better?
I think so. So they cast actual younger children
Yeah.
to match the actual ages of like Percy Jackson
Yeah.
and Annabeth.
Yep.
What I noticed in the book, they changed. So in the book, the prophecy is, when one of the children of the top 3 turns 16,
Mhm.
there's going to be a big decision.
Yeah.
In the movie, they changed the prophecy and said whoever
So
turns
much.
20.
Mhm.
And that was like one of the first things
Yeah.
towards the beginning of the movie, I was like, yeah, that's
You're like,
because the actors don't match the
that's
actual
exactly
ages.
it. If they said 16, everyone would be like, Percy's
Like,
16.
Right now. Yeah. Okay. Jake Abel. Oh my gosh. Palomona Kwiatkowski. Sure. Maxine Miller. Camille Okay, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of the actors that are in this movie also were in Supernatural.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh, Jake Abel was in it?
Yeah, he was actually a really big role.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need to go watch it.
He plays the brother's half brother
What?
that they didn't know they had. He ends up being horrible, and like I think he gets sucked into hell.
I'll be his first person to like him.
I like him at part of it, and then, I mean, he becomes evil, and they push him into the gates of hell.
What
If I
character
remember.
is he in the movie?
He's Luke.
Luke.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Here, okay, this one is one, but you know it. Share the Firefly fun fact.
My gosh, it makes my day so much. So I forgot that Nathan Fillion was Hermes in the movie. And so when he's giving them their gifts, he pulls out the thermos and it's the Hercules bus head or whatever. And they're like, what's that? And he's like, greatest show of all time. Of course it got canceled. And then he pauses for a beat. And oh my gosh, my nerd heart was so happy because Nathan Fillion is the star of Firefly. For any sci-fi nerds out there, you feel this pain. And he is like, I think he leads the fans in like wanting that show to get resurrected so much. So I love that they let him have that little joke.
Did you ever watch Castle?
No, I need to.
Oh my gosh, you would love that show. It's like a murder show. It's basically CSI, but Nathan Fillion is freaking hilarious throughout the whole thing.
I love him. And I know he dresses up as his character from Firefly for Halloween.
Yeah, I actually think he does.
I know that much about the show.
Okay, fun fact number 4. While filming the yacht scene, Alexandra
Daddario.
Thank you. She learned she was seasick, which coincidentally Annabeth also is when she's on the boat. Levin Rambin, who she wore a brown wig for her role of Clarice. There's your 5th fun fact. I don't know.
That's really dumb too. Blonde is so easy to dye.
Right. She wanted to dye it.
Probably.
Wasn't she a redhead in the book?
Yeah.
So why did they give her a brown wig?
What's funny is when I read Clarice, I have a picture in Friends at Monica and Chandler's wedding, the kid who asks Ross to dance and she's the bigger girl.
Oh my god!
That's who I picture.
I definitely not realizing picture her too. That's awesome.
I was like, that's Clarice. And then I felt bad.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right.
All right. Cassidy, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
hold on.
Which starts off first?
Movie.
Okay.
Because we have to start with stupid Talia's story because they never told it.
Oh yeah, because they told it in the Lightning Thief.
Yes, the book.
The book.
Not the movie. And now, because Talia is a huge freaking part of the story,
They're like, oh yeah.
oh, we should have told about her. So we start off with that.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was
Okay. Okay, I forgot. You don't go as detailed as I do. All right.
No, I don't.
So we start out now in the book. Kicked off. Percy had a dream about Grover. He's being chased by this monster. He wakes up and he's freaked out and he tries to talk to his mom about it. She's like, oh no, don't worry. You know, Camp would figure that out if something was bad. And she's like, it's your last day of school and then it's summer. And he's like, yeah, and I get to go back to camp tomorrow. And she's like, ah. And we find out, no, he doesn't get to go back to camp tomorrow because Chiron says it's very dangerous. And he's like, why? But he's like trying to make himself feel better. And he's going to go meet his new friend, Tyson, that he met at school this year.
None of that happens.
Nope.
Okay. I guess we're not. Are we discussing the movie too, or?
Yeah, we
Oh,
jump
okay.
in.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
So they introduce Tyson in the book at school, but in the movie they introduce Tyson at camp.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you could see his stupid Cyclops eye right off the bat when you're supposed to have a hard time looking at him.
Yeah. And in the movie, they just use the mist spray to...
Yes, I freaking hate the stupid spray. Like, what? Do they spray the whole camp?
All the time.
Oh, the mist spray's wearing off, guys. Let's go do it.
But I think one thing in the book, so Percy's like fighting off bullies that end up being monsters,
Oh yeah.
and that's where Tyson comes in and uses his strength and stuff.
Yes. And like the fire starts coming in that fight, and that's when Tyson first like he catches one of the dodgeballs that's on fire, and Percy's like, "Stop! You're gonna burn yourself."
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead of at the stupid camp of bulls attacking the camp, and Tyson grabs the horns and gets basically fire breathed on him.
Okay. So basically was just said. So Tyson's a very emotional person, and he talks kind of like a younger kid.
That's the other thing I was gonna say. I hate how Tyson talks like an actual normal person.
In the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're supposed to be like, oh, Percy's sad.
Because he's a baby cyclops. It's so cute. But he's a giant, huge kid. And he's homeless, and the school's like, let's take him in as a community project. And wow.
Could you imagine if the
Right.
school did that?
Like, and just labeled it as that? Like, this kid
Yeah.
knows he's a community project? Okay. So there's this kid that likes to pick on Tyson and Percy, but today he has a bunch more goons and cronies with him than normal. They go to dodgeball and play dodgeball, and all these, like we said, the friends
They're cannibals.
are monsters.
They're cannibals.
Okay, cannibal monsters.
Yeah, the Lastrygonians are cannibals.
Okay.
The title of the chapter is We Play Dodgeball with Cannibals.
Okay. All right. So a huge fight breaks out, and Tyson's super strong. Fire doesn't bug him. And then all of a sudden, Percy's about to die, but Annabeth shows up and stabs a bad guy or something like that. And turns out she's been following him and waiting for the moment to talk to him. And she looks at Tyson all disgusted, like, and Percy doesn't understand why. And this punk kid blamed Percy for the school being on fire. So now they're on the run, like always.
Well, one of the things that I said in the last episode is that Percy decided he was staying at the camp. So, of course, we're already at camp.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then they're doing this weird, stupid, like, Olympic tower climbing thing. Where are my chariots? That's what I wanted to see.
That was one of the things I remembered. And I was like, wait a second. I did read this book.
Also, I hate how Percy keeps going to the lake to talk to his dad. Oh, he's questioning if he's good enough. And he keeps like, just show me anything, Dad. Help me. And it's all sad. Because Percy in the book is like, meh, my dad's Poseidon, whatever. I'm cool.
They had to make it more of a gut punch because Poseidon talks to Tyson.
Mm-hmm. Just showed him the way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then when they first get the camp and they have to decide where to put Tyson, he automatically goes, oh yeah, Tyson's mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Percy had to wait a little bit.
Percy's like, he hasn't even proved himself. And then in the movie, Tyson is talking to Chiron and Mr. D, and they're like, we wouldn't even know what cabin to put you in. First off, you should be putting him in cabin 11, because that's supposed to be where you put people you don't know where you're putting.
Right.
Second off,
But he was too big.
Oh, that's
oh,
right.
yeah. Oh, I
So where are
forgot
we gonna
about
put him?
that. I forgot. I mean, movie Tyson could have fit in cabin 11. But then Tyson goes, oh, don't worry about it. I know exactly who. And then he points to Poseidon in a picture. And I'm like, the hell, kid? You're not supposed to know.
I know. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, this part happens in a much different way. It does happen, but it's in a different way. So Annabeth, we're in the book now, calls the taxi of damnation, and they're these three sisters, and they're like basically what we talked about last, where are the scissors? The one eye shared between all these three sisters. And they're driving, and they take them, they had to pay extra for Tyson. And again, Percy's like, I don't get it. What is going on? And Annabeth
He's
said,
just this poor homeless kid.
yeah, Annabeth said, Tyson is the reason nothing's been going after you all year, Percy. And he's like, what are you talking about? So the three sisters say something about knowing where Percy's desires to go, and Percy made them tell him. And it turns out they just gave him a bunch of numbers. And he's like, I don't know what any of this is. But they finally get to camp, and there's a full-on war going on. And this is where the two huge bulls are destroying camp. And a huge fight breaks out. Clarice is in charge of all these armies, and they're not doing so good. And Annabeth went to fight. Percy's about to get hurt, so Annabeth grants Tyson access to camp.
Instead, in the movie, he just walks right on in.
And they finish off the battle, and Annabeth tells Percy.
She's a cow now.
Voice to text. Really look at Tyson. And he did, and he saw past the mist, and he sees he's a Cyclops. And that's why he's immune to fire. And we then find out that Talia's tree is dying, and Chiron got blamed for it. So he has to get out of there.
This is some bullshit.
Yeah. But in the movie, Chiron's still there. And Dissonius, if I'm saying that right.
Oh, yeah.
We just say Mr. D.
Yeah.
Mr. D. Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. D.
his name's too hard.
He's in charge. But in the book, Chiron's gone, and there's a new person in charge, Mr. Tantalus.
Yes, which would have been funny to see. Also, right off the freaking bat, because what? Percy is fighting a bull, and Luke just has a little teleport thing and can come and visit, and is like, I poisoned the tree.
Yeah, that's right. Luke just shows up in the movie.
Yeah, Luke shows up right here to like taunt Percy, basically. Or no, he's trying to get him on his side because he knows about the prophecy. And this is how Percy finds out about the prophecy. So then when they're looking at the tree, Percy runs over and is like, Luke poisoned it. And so there's no need for Chiron to go away because no one thinks he did it. It's very dumb. This movie pisses me off more than the first one.
That's impressive.
Yeah, because that first one. That was a rough one for me.
Okay. So Annabeth and Percy are speaking to Chiron, and he's packing up, and they determine they definitely think... Oh, yeah.
I just want to say, did you guys, when reading the book, do you picture the tree having Talia like right there in the roots? Or do you picture just a pine tree?
I just picture a tree.
Yeah, I just picture a tree, like...
Me too.
But
maybe she's inside, not under it.
That's what I picture.
Or
I
she
picture
just
like her essence is
transforms,
in it. Yeah, not her just laying like in the movie.
Yes. So they determined that Kronos and Luke definitely poisoned the tree, but they have no proof. So, sorry, Chiron has to take the blame. So off he went. And the different guy, what was it, Tantalus, you said,
Yeah.
took over. And they're going to reintroduce the chariot races. And the winners don't have to do chores. So everybody's super excited. And they have to figure out what to do with Tyson. But then he's claimed by Poseidon. You guys are rocking it. Why am I even here? You guys are doing it all.
I wish they showed the claimings in the movies. Like, I hate that they just automatically know where all the kids go. I'm like, I want to see the damn trident.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Annabeth and Percy had a fight because Percy's like, is this... What did they have a fight about? Was it Tyson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. They had a fight
It's
about
always
Tyson.
about Tyson.
Always Tyson. And so they decided not to work on the chariot together. And so Percy had another dream, and it turns out Grover has been projecting onto him, and Grover's trapped.
Oh my God. How have we not mentioned this?
That Grover's still at camp?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I just realized.
The book, Grover's somewhere in the Sea of Monsters that Percy dreamed of. But in the movie, he's been with Percy the whole time at camp.
Yep.
He has been. He's safe and sound.
Yes. He has been trapped by that one Cyclops that I had the name in here, but for some reason I...
Polyphemus.
That's why I deleted it.
Polyphemus.
I knew I wouldn't be able to read it. So he's trapped by a Cyclops. And so that he doesn't get eaten, he's pretending to be his bride. But now, since he projected, Grover's like, oh, by the way, if I die, you die. Like, oh, thanks, Grover. Annabeth doesn't believe him. She thinks he's just getting in her head about ruin the chariot race. And everybody does the race, and then these killer piranha bird things come and attack everybody, and they had to save the camp, and they were successful as always.
None of that. Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say, fun fact, it was called the empathy link.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
None of that happens. And Grover comes up to them and is like, we gotta get the golden fleece. Okay, Grover. I mean, he is basically why they figured that out, because he's trapped on that island, but like he immediately knew
Yeah.
in the movie.
That's right.
But in the movie, Annabeth has a idea and pulls out a book of miracles
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
and goes, I know what we need.
Ta-da!
I do like, though, how she takes it to Mr. D and he's like, no, that's stupid. And the next scene is him pitching it
It's
to
my
her.
idea.
Oh my gosh. And then they don't get chosen to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So things all get settled, and then Mr. Tantalus blames Tyson, Annabeth, and Percy for these birds. And he's like, if you didn't go in the forest, they wouldn't have come out. So they go off, and they have to do extra chores, and this gave Annabeth and Percy time to talk. And finally, she believes him. So at the sing-along, they're like, we have to pitch this quest idea, because then he can't say no.
We have to do it in front of the campers.
Yes. And so they did it, and finally he agreed, but he sent Clarice off on the quest. And she had to go talk to the Oracle to get her quest. And Percy's super bummed, but he goes for a walk, and then he runs into Hermes down by the lake, and Hermes gives him a couple of gifts and says, please work on saving Luke. And then Tyson and Annabeth end up rushing towards him, and off they go.
This some bullshit. First off, Percy goes to the Oracle now because, again, in the first movie, he never went to the Oracle, so they got to give him that. But also, if Luke just told him the prophecy, why is he going to the Oracle to then have the prophecy retold to him? Why? That's stupid. Also, why is he going to the Oracle for the prophecy? The Oracle isn't supposed to give him a prophecy. It's supposed to give him a quest.
And again, yeah, in the movie, the Oracle gives him the prophecy of the big three turning 20, air quotes.
Yes.
When he doesn't find that out in the book until Annabeth tells him about it.
Right.
Towards the end of the book.
Well, it was Kieran was keeping it secret from him.
Yeah. Yep. Of which he also just told him in the movie too. He was like, I think you should go to the Oracle and talk to her.
Right.
Also, the fleece is supposed to be this thing where everyone's like, I don't know where it's at. Like, once they figure out that that's where Grover is hidden, they're like, okay, so to find Grover, we have to find the fleece, but no one knows where it's at. In the movie, Mr. D literally, when he's telling the campers his plan, he's like, and it's located right here.
Yeah. What the heck?
That was frustrating.
That was dumb. Yeah, because they only found out about it, like where it is in the book, because of Grover.
Well, the taxi gave him coordinates.
I was going to say the taxi gave him the coordinates. So because of his empathy link with Grover and him and Annabeth being like, okay, we're going, he was like, oh, I know what those numbers were, especially once he's on the ocean.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the taxi got switched up too. So they took
Taxi
the
got way
taxi to
switched up.
camp in the book, but in the movie they took the taxi from camp
To go see Hermes,
Yeah.
who works at UPS.
But Hermes was supposed to come to camp.
I also, in our last episode, I was looking up the cast for the TV show because I haven't watched the show yet. I was waiting for us to do this, and I wanted to see if certain characters were in the show. But then I saw Hermes was played by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and now that's all I can see for Hermes. I was like, that's perfect casting, I think. I love me Nathan Fillion, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of sad. When they skipped over this Hermes part, I was like, I'm kind of okay with them not putting him in. And then it got to him, and I was like, oh, well, I'm okay that they put it in. And then they still screwed it up because he gave them freaking packing tape. Packing tape that'll make a hole anywhere.
I know. Because what did he give him? He gave him pills for
vitamins.
That were
multivitamin.
The thermos.
money.
Ration.
Oh yeah, rations and money. and basically clothes for
Extra
the
clothes.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, it was the thermos, the packing tape.
See, but they changed up their challenges, so they needed somehow to get out of a hole. They didn't need
Yeah.
magic medicine.
Yeah, exactly. Which is also stupid because who I can't remember who in the movie says it, but someone in the movie says that in the Sea of Monsters are going to have to deal with Cersei, which is the chick who turned Percy into the hands.
Tyson
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
"Oh, that's Cersei land," and they're like, "What?"
Yes.
And then they don't even do it.
Yes, I was like, oh, okay, that's gonna happen, and then
And where Cersei was in the book, it was like a spa place, not on the same island.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I know. It's like I just am there are books this different, right? Following sort of the same path, but so much changed. I'm like, so do these screenplay writers think that they're better authors than the actual author? Because it's like, why would they
Change.
that much? Like, I understand having to change certain things to match, like, fit movies, right?
Mhm. But changing the storyline altogether.
Yeah, like whole events, like taking this whole Cersei part out and putting, what is it?
It's the stupid, because here's the problem too. When Hermes sends them on their way, they go out to a cruise ship. But the Andromeda in the movie is a freaking yacht.
Right.
And so it's Luke's brig, which also, what yacht has a brig?
Well, they made that joke. They're like, it's not going to have a brig. I told you it has a brig. Oh, so Luke's yacht has a brig.
Yeah. Stupid Luke.
So let's catch you all up. What we're talking about is Poseidon sends these hippocampus, these like seahorses.
Also, this scene when Tyson like comes into the water and is like, "Hi, Dad, we really need some help." And he sends one hippocampus first off. Second off, it's supposed to be Percy who walks into the water and asks for help.
You're right. It is.
But it's because they wanted to drive in the Percy thinking he's not good enough, which is really funny because the gods never show up in this movie. So that whole storyline for Percy never gets resolved. So what?
You're
He just
right.
feels like he's not good enough.
That was their plan for the next movie.
They
That
probably
did not
saved
happen.
on some money not making 3 hippocampi.
Yeah,
too.
probably. Like, not just
Let's
one.
just make one large one for them all to fit on. When really the large one's just supposed to be for Tyson.
Yes. So they ride all the way to the boat. And Tyson didn't want to leave. He named his Rainbow and he just loved her so much. But Percy finally convinced him, we got to go. And there is absolutely nobody on the boat. But they did see a door that was open and said, "Welcome." And it had like mints or chocolates or something on the pillow. That would be sketch. I'd go find a different room. But they were like, okay. And they slept there. And Percy had another dream about Grover. And now they only have 7 days to save him. So time is crunching.
So in the book, Tyson has this weird like power where he can mimic other people's voices.
Oh, yeah.
He was like
Yep.
eavesdropping from the other room, and I don't remember that in the movie at all.
No,
he
it's
just made
not.
he made noises, and then that's when the monsters were like, "Who's there?"
We gotta attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say this is also where Grover gets kidnapped in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Just like on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, just on the street by Luke's goons.
Because Grover went with them.
Yeah.
We didn't say that.
Oh yeah. Grover's on this adventure too, and he's trying to help them too.
Because
That
they
was the
need a
thing about the
satyr.
movie. I was just gonna say the stupid movie was like, to be able to go on a quest, you have to have a satyr. So Clarice also had her own satyr, who then wasn't even on the freaking ghost ship with her when she was in the stomach of the monster.
Oh, because he died, didn't you hear?
Oh no, I was probably too pissed.
Oh, yeah, he died. He didn't
Oh.
make it.
That's funny. It's because you don't really need a satyr to go on a quest.
So they wake up, and everybody in the ship is like in this weird trance, and they're like on a cruise ship. They have monsters on the ship because Tyson's like, smells bad, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And they see Luke, and they agree they need to catch him. But unfortunately, this is when Tyson makes... Wait, how did he...
No, so Tyson's sitting there talking, and he's talking, and he's sounding like Luke, and what we don't know is Kronos, because Luke and Kronos are having a conversation, and Kronos can just like either like sense them or something, or maybe he hears Tyson. I don't totally know exactly what tips him off, but like Annabeth tells Tyson to stop it, and Percy's like, no, we need to hear this. And Tyson starts back up again, and it's, wait, do you hear them? Go get them. And then they're like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Because we can hear Kronos because he's not in a...
Well, he's supposed to be in a sarcophagus, but he's supposed to be able to talk.
Yeah, he does not in the movie, right?
He's just in a sarcophagus, and then he turns into basically what Hades was in the first movie.
They don't know in the movie that Kronos
Is yeah,
even there.
exactly,
They
because
don't-
he wasn't there in the first movie.
Exactly.
So Luke captures them, and he's trying to convince them to come on his side. He's planning to overthrow the gods and bring Kronos back, and all hunky dory. And eventually, they're able to run off, but Luke chases them, but they get away.
Dude, in the movie too, when he's chasing him off of the yacht, and Percy is riding that wave, how is he able to ride the wave with him?
I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, how does he have that power?
I was like, just because you're a god's kid, you can walk on the water too now. I was like, you should be down below, like step whoosh.
Like, even if he had those flying shoes, I don't know how he'd stay on the water.
No, I was really like, what? Why? Oh yeah, the stupid like scorpion bear monster on the boat.
Yeah.
In the movie?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like they made that a thing because they didn't do the scorpion in the first movie.
Yeah, they didn't do the scorpion. And then the Agrius,
Yes.
the bear,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was like-
oh yeah.
one of the children of Artemis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't, that was one of Luke's henchmen, and they didn't even bring that up.
Nope. None of the gods really got brought up in this
Yeah.
I
movie.
know.
And then also at this point in the movie, they have now ran out of mist, so they can no longer hide Tyson. So stupid.
So he has to wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So dumb. Could you imagine
Because
being an actor, getting a role and being like, okay, you're really going to have one eye for the majority of this movie. And when it's shown, we need you to wear sunglasses.
right. But it's like the reason he had the mist in the movie was because Annabeth didn't like to look at him.
Yeah.
It wasn't even to hide him.
Yeah.
It's just to make him have two eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so they could save money.
Right?
We can't do this CGI, guys. We need to figure out how to make him have two eyes.
So they escaped and they went to a safe camp that Talia, Luke, and Annabeth had made when they were trying to first find their way to camp. And Annabeth and Percy talked, and Percy learns how Talia died and that it was a Cyclops to blame because Grover got lost and ended up in a Cyclops there. It was so that's why she hates Tyson. And they're trying to figure out what happened, like what to do next when Tyson comes back with donuts.
Mhm.
And they're like, what? Because they're in the middle of nowhere. So they go out and they see a Hydra and then a donut shop. And then they get into this battle and Percy accidentally chops off its head. So then it's a bigger battle. But then here comes Clarice on a boat and she starts blowing everything up. And then she lets them ride the ship.
She lets them ride the ship.
Right.
I guess so.
But the movie,
Mhm.
that never happens. They just go straight from Luke's yacht to taking the raft and going inside a giant monster. That's where she finds
Uh-huh.
Basically, there's a freaking sarlacc pit in the middle of the ocean.
When I first watched the movie, I'm like, those are giant teeth. Is this supposed to be like a kraken or something?
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. I was so mad. I was like, maybe they're trying to make this into the two like rock pillar things. And then I noticed there were more and more, and I was like, nope, this is not at all what they're trying to do.
And then Percy goes, "Oh, this is the whatever the
Yeah.
starts with a CH."
Yeah. Yeah. How
wanna
would
say
Percy know, Mr. Like, I just got introduced to this life?
I know.
Also, in the movie, Talia gets killed by the Cyclops. It's not the Cyclops had captured them,
Right.
and it took them a while to escape it. The Cyclops was the one running around and killed Talia. which is not correct.
It was probably too hard for them to be like, how do I do this?
Since
And
we screwed it up.
Since we screwed it up, and then to make people not like
Tyson.
understand why she doesn't like him. Because I feel like,
Yeah.
oh, we went to a Cyclops area and then,
We escaped.
but I still blame the Cyclops. Like, it makes
Yeah.
sense reading it,
Yeah.
but I feel like they might be like, oh, I don't know
Seeing
how to
it.
say
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, and Tyson lost the thermos, so now they don't have a thermos anymore in the movie.
Yep. Good job, Tyson.
Mhm. Also, if you remember from last week, there was a Hydra in that movie, but not this one.
Yes.
But don't worry, guys. There's an amusement park.
Which was not last week. All right. So they ate and they rested on Clarice's zombie ship because it's a ship with all these like Confederate zombies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Percy has another dream. And it's about Grover, and now they only have a day to save him. But he did get confirmation that the fleece is there. And so he woke up, but then he hears Ares. And Ares is talking to Clarice, and Ares is yelling at her and saying she better not let Jackson get this, and starts threatening her. And it turns out Ares is who gave her the ship, and then he leaves.
And then he said, I should have had one of my sons do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Punk.
Yeah. Ares is a dick. Would not want him to be my dad.
Nope.
Yeah. So they get on Clarice's ship when they're in the monster's tummy.
The monster's tummy.
Yeah. Yeah. They're basically Jonah and the whale now.
Or Pinocchio and
Yeah.
Monstro.
And now Clarice has decided to team up with Percy to go get the fleece. Because duh.
She has no choice, really.
Yeah. No Ares coming to talk to her.
Nope. But in the book, they are currently going to the Sea of Monsters, and they have two choices. They have this one monster whose territory she creates like whirlpools and sucks the ship in. The other side, there's like this, I imagine like almost like one of those sticky hands that you throw and it grabs them. And don't know if that's right, but that's what I imagine.
I'm sure in Greek mythology, yes, that's right.
Okay. I mean, I didn't expect a sticky hand, but like that quick is how you grab. She just grabbed them, plucked them off. And Percy's like, no, we got to go the plucking it off way. And Clarice is like, no, we got to go the whirlpool way. And it's Clarice's quest, so they went the whirlpool way. But, it's too much for the boat. The boat ends up getting destroyed. And then all of a sudden, well, first Tyson goes down to try and save the boat. But then all of a sudden, the plucking it off monster comes. And so they're just screwed all around. And then Percy and Annabeth end up escaping on a little sailboat or a lifeboat.
Mm-hmm.
But
The lifeboat came into play on the Andromeda in the movie.
as far as we know, Tyson is dead because he blew up on the ship. As far as we know.
In the movie, how they do this is Luke shoots him.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's right.
And then he falls off a cliff.
That's like at the end.
Yeah, it is. Well, we're close to the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Unless
that's
there's
right.
something.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, basically this doesn't happen. Like I said, I thought the Sarlacc monster was the whirlpool.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And then it was not.
It was not.
I was like, this is a very weird whirlpool with the two. Because, like, I envision it kind of like, why can't I think of a movie? But, like, two big pillars right here with the water in between.
Uh-huh.
And, like, this monster closer to this rock is making the whirlpool, and this one closer is, like, picking it up.
Oh, I see.
And then you go through it. So that's why I thought when
Lord
the
of the
teeth.
Rings and those two statues.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so that's why I kind of thought when they were doing because at first it was like the one tooth, and then the next one came, and I was like, oh, maybe they're making it very small, because I picture it as like towering.
Yeah.
And then it was a Sarlacc monster. I was like,
So one of the monsters is Calypso, I believe.
oh, actually, I think it's the Sarlacc that I keep calling a Sarlacc.
And whenever I think of Calypso, I think of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Me
Caribbean.
too. Me too. They said it, and I was like, that's not Calypso, but okay.
Well, it depends which
Yeah, that's
mythology.
true. That's true.
Okay, well, this is why the movie's almost at the end, because this whole thing doesn't happen. So this is the spa island that we were talking about. They're brought there, and they go see the owner named Cece, and Annabeth is sent off to get pampered, and Percy he needs attention by Cece, and she convinced him that he wants to look like better and more handsome, so she gives him a milkshake, and he turns into a guinea pig because men are pigs. And eventually Annabeth comes, and Cece reveals her true self as Cersei. And Annabeth is genius and smart, right? And she's like, oh my gosh, you're a sorceress and you hate men. I know all this whole story. And Annabeth sees the guinea pigs, and she knows that one of them is Percy. She asks Cersei for one goodbye, and Cersei leaves. Annabeth takes one of Hermes' vitamins and drops them. And so all the guinea pigs go and eat these vitamins because they make you immune to magic. So Percy ends up becoming Percy again. And so do all these other guinea pigs, and they're all Blackbeard's pirate crew. So they've been there for like 300 years. And Annabeth and Percy run off and get on the old pirate ship, and Percy's able to make the ship go because he has magic Poseidon powers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to help him get out of the brig. Percy squatted and did some like meditation yoga stuff to make the water rock so that Annabeth could get her bag.
Yeah, it was like
tape.
the Force, but with water.
Exactly. Yeah.
and then using the mystical tape
The stupid tape.
or mythic tape.
Yeah, I thought that was so dumb. I was like, why? Why did they make this a thing? Why couldn't I see him turn into a hamster? Or guinea pig, my bad.
So then this part also didn't happen. Look at, they cut out so much.
Mm-hmm. Which is insane because the book's very small.
Yeah.
Right.
When you guys handed me or dropped off the books,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at the book compared to the Lightning Thief, I'm like, wow, this one's way
Right.
shorter. I was kind of glad. I was like, oh, good thing I got the shorter book.
So this part also did not happen in the movie. They end up at the Siren Island, and Annabeth's like, I really want to hear, because they share your deepest desires. So she tied a rope around her and is like, don't let me go, Percy. And so he's like, sure. And he puts like wax in his ears so he can't hear them. But he's looking at her, and she's sobbing. She's like, please let me go, and begging to go. So he has to not look at her. Then he turns and looks at her again, and she's gone. She had cut the rope, and she's swimming out to this island. And so he goes
Can
in
I
after
just
her.
jump in?
Yeah.
Son of Poseidon, why doesn't he use his powers to like bring her back with the water is what I want to know.
I don't think he really knows how to use his powers fully yet. 'Cause
Oh.
he does start to use his powers in a little bit.
Yeah. I know. But I kept thinking, I was like, come on, dude, just
Movie
use the
Percy
force.
would
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's why they didn't do this part.
Yes. So he's going after her, and then he grabs her hand to stop her, and he sees what she sees, and he sees her dad and her mom and Luke, and they're all happy, and they rebuilt everything, and he drags her under, and she can't hear the sound anymore, the music. So he's like, okay, this is what I have to do. So he pulls her under, and then he puts bubbles around her head, and then they swim far, far away from the island. And they talk a little bit, and he admits that he saw what she wants.
And it's kind of weird that they left this part out because it's a lot of character development for Annabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, there's like
No
background
character
for her,
development.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
she's
not at
just
all.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's his love interest in the movie.
Yeah.
I also realized, I was like, you all are cousins.
All of them, yes.
Yeah. She's crushing on Luke in the book. He's crushing on her in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
They're also related to monsters too, so
That's true. So now we are at the Cyclops Island, and they see the fleece, but they're like, this is weird because it's super easy to get to, and usually there's something protecting them. But they see these ginormous sheep, and then there's a deer that just comes out, and then they all attack it like a piranha, and then they just leave. Like, I really imagine in my head, like, that, like,
Uh-huh.
comic book, like, Nom, 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 nom. And then just
like a Looney Tunes.
yes, exactly. So they go the other side of the mountain to stay away from these sheep, and we see that the Cyclops has Clarice, and she's calling him dumb, telling him how your bride is just a satyr. And he's like, what? He's like, okay, now that will be my dinner, and I will marry you. And so that's great. And Clarice is just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to go feed my sheep. And he locks them in a cave and he goes to feed the sheep. And Percy and Annabeth try and come up with a plan. And finally, Annabeth does. And she told Percy about this plan of the story of Nobody, who is what Odysseus called himself before attacking the Cyclops. So she puts on her cap, and Percy's under a sheep, and he's ushered in, and Annabeth starts calling him, saying all these mean things, and he's like, who is that? And she's like, nobody. And that triggers Cyclops, and he goes out, and Percy and Clarice and Grover all have a word together moment before the Cyclops comes back with Annabeth.
So I want to add in the books, the Cyclops is pretty blind.
Yes.
Forever ago. So that's why he thinks Grover's
Yes.
a Cyclops and he's going to marry him.
Yep.
In the movie, he's not really that blind.
No, he's not blind. Grover's wearing a little veil that has a Cyclops eye on his forehead, which is cute, and I kind of liked it. I did not like it for story purposes.
Nope.
Also, Clarice is not the one who rats him out to the Cyclops. Grover just rips it off and is like, and look, I'm not a Cyclops.
Right. Like, what?
I'm trying not to get eaten, dude.
I feel like Grover would pretend to be a Cyclops as
Oh,
long
for
as
sure.
possible.
Absolutely.
Clarice is just outing him, and Annabeth is like trying to hold back. She's like, she's stupid. She's got to shut up.
Yep. The story of Nobody actually was like one of the only stories I remember from, I think it was high school, when we learned about Greek mythology. I was like, oh, I actually knew this story.
It's funny, I don't remember it.
Me neither.
It was exactly how they said it.
But we had different teachers.
That's very true.
Yep.
Yeah. High school? Or
I don't
You
know.
had high school, yes.
I'm pretty sure it was high school.
I was asking.
I think it was like freshman year.
No, we had
Mr. Wilson.
We watched Nightmare Before Christmas for like 3 months.
Yes. Yes. Finally, someone came on the podcast to like verify my stories.
She says that, I'm like, that seems over dramatic, but I'm just gonna let it slide. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's real.
I was telling her, I was like, we watched the movie probably like 100 times my freshman year.
His favorite word was denouement.
Gosh.
And what is the denouement? Let's watch it again.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, it was the best because you had it before me, so you would always come up and be like, guess what we're doing in English again? I was like, Nightmare Before Christmas.
It was my first period, I think. So it was like early in the morning.
You're like, nap time.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that made me very happy right now.
So, in the book, Percy has to figure out what to do. And all of a sudden, he starts attacking the Cyclops, and he drops Annabeth on her head. And the Cyclops starts crying, saying he just wants to protect his sheep. And Percy's like, you know what? You're the son of Poseidon. Okay, I just want the fleece. We'll leave you and the sheep alone. But then the Cyclops gets up and knocks him down. He's like, silly human, we are all not all nice. And he's about to die, but then here comes Tyson to save the day. And they're running back to the ship. And Grover and Clarice start cutting this rope bridge because they're across. And the Cyclops then falls. Annabeth's ribs are broken and everything, but Tyson's able to get the fleece because these sheep are not attacking him because he's part Cyclops. And she is part Cyclops. He is Cyclops. she is starting to heal, but she's not fully healed yet, so she can't run yet. Tyson leads these sheep away, and then they meet them at the boat, and Clarice and Annabeth are there, and they finally get to the water when the Cyclops comes and attacks them again.
This whole fight is so different. Also, I forgot. I wanted to say that the Cyclops is carrying the stupid fleece with him, so they don't have to do this whole thing to get it off the tree.
That's right. It's on a tree.
Yeah, it's on the tree in the book. In the movie, he's carrying it.
Yeah,
so
it's like on his shoulder.
yeah, and they just basically like trick him until they can somersault over him and grab it, and then throw it around, play hot potato, basically.
Yep.
And then they just have to run to the entrance of the amusement park.
That's right, because they're at an amusement park.
Yeah, and then
Not a beautiful island.
yeah, and then Luke is there, and he takes the fleece from them, and he takes it so he can give it to Kronos.
Yeah, he puts it on the coffin
Mm-hmm.
to help revive him.
Yep, and then Kronos comes back, and then there's a huge old fight with Kronos.
Yep. Here, let's get there. So, sort of. So, a battle takes place, and they're halfway to the ship, and the Cyclops keeps telling Tyson that he's disappointed and that he was raised wrong and he could help him be better and all this sort of stuff. But Percy lets Tyson know, you're on our team, you're good. And the Cyclops attacks Tyson, which makes Percy attack him, and this whole battle. And finally, they get to the ship, and Clarice is shouting out names to the Cyclops, like the idiot that she is.
Yep.
And the Cyclops is throwing humongous rocks, and finally a giant hole is in the ship. They start to sink, but here comes Rainbow! So the Cyclops believes that the ship is sunk, and they're off.
Because he's so blind.
Yep, and he sees the ship sunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they finally get as far as the hippocampus will go, and they have to swim the rest of the way because the water's yuck, and the hippocampus are like, this is polluted and gross. And so they're trying to figure out how to get home, but they've been gone for 10 days. So it's like we got to go now, or like, this is pointless. And so Clarice recited the prophecy that the oracle gave her, and it said how she's going to fail, but without her friends, but she has to fly home alone and all this sort of stuff. And Percy's like, you need to go fly by yourself home. Here, take the fleece.
Bye.
And once she's gone, here comes Luke. And Luke explains everything about how he poisoned Talia and all this sort of stuff. And it turns out that Percy had a message going on for like the Iris message. So all of camp saw, and now they're like, we can bring Chiron back because he didn't do it.
But we didn't need to do that because Luke already admitted to it in the movie.
Yeah, and Chiron was still
At the camp.
Which I was kind of bummed because in the book, Chiron goes we haven't mentioned this, but Chiron's in Florida with a bunch of other centaurs, and it looks like he's at like partying and stuff.
That would have been so funny to see.
Yes.
I did. I skipped that part. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, they made a phone call to him several days ago.
Also, in the movie, he's trying to make an antidote for Talia, which literally in the book they say that there's no antidote to fix it. I was like,
He's like,
okay,
watch me.
It's like, I can do this.
The rest of the movie got wrong, so I can do this.
I'm gonna save her. We don't need a fleece.
Mm-hmm. So Luke is pissed. He's about to kill Percy, but then here comes Chiron and all his relatives, and they battle Luke, and he runs off, and they travel back to their house trailer party area, and Percy and Chiron chat, and Percy knows now that the prophecy is that he's going to die at 16 or possibly change the future of the gods and all them. And we find out that many don't trust Chiron because he's Kronos. Kronos is his father.
I wish every time I read it, it's a gut punch. I'm always like,
I did not remember that. I was like, what? Crazy.
I knew his father was someone big, but I couldn't remember who. But that doesn't happen.
No.
Luke has now been eaten by Kronos.
Yeah.
And then like pooped
awesome.
out.
In the movie that happens, and then he gets spit out. Or well, when they defeat Chiron, he just kind of falls to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also want to say the prophecy, it only pertains to Percy right now because
He's the only big three kid who's alive.
Yeah, so Hades, Zeus, or Poseidon. And so he's the only one. So this is about
Him.
Yeah.
They're believing.
Mm-hmm. So they get back to camp and they decided to do the final chariot race, and Annabeth and Percy teamed up, and Hermes shows him a letter, and it's from Poseidon, and the letter basically says stand guard or something like that. I don't remember what it said.
Ooh, what does it say? It's not that.
It's like be prepared or something.
Be
aware.
That's my favorite. I was just gonna say that's my favorite Lion King song.
Be ready. Be
No, he used a big word.
Prepared is a big word.
Okay, Scar.
What's considered big?
I know.
Big. No. A word a god would use.
Well,
do you got the book?
I know. Where's your book?
Downstairs. Oh, something like that. Okay, well, Bri thinks about that. So, so the race is neck and neck, and she's gonna type it up.
Google for the win. Well, while they're searching, in the movie, when they get back to camp, they put the fleece on the tree, and it starts to heal the borders and all the nature around. And Annabeth comes back to camp to find Percy and goes, "You'll never believe what the fleece did."
Oh, yes.
And she's holding the fleece, so it's not staying on the tree.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
He comes over to the tree, and there's a girl half sticking out from under the roots, and just happens to wake up when Percy touches her.
Right? Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so the race is neck and neck for the chariot races in the book, but of course Annabeth and Percy win, and they give credit to Tyson, and now everybody likes Tyson. Woohoo! So Tyson got called off to go to the sea with Poseidon, so he's saying bye to everybody. Grover got a special sabbatical or whatever. He gets to stay home for a little bit from the satyrs, and then because he's so successful in his quest, but then he gets to go look for Pan again. And Percy woke up from something and it happened on
Brace
the hill.
Yourself.
That's big words.
I should have known.
Those are big
because
words.
It reminds me of Game of Thrones. Brace yourself. Yeah, exactly. I read it and I was like, "Oh, Jon Snow." Okay.
Well, I mean, we got Cersei in there too.
We did. That's what I thought. So Annabeth is keeping guard. So he's really worried. So he runs out there, and it turns out that here's Talia. She's back.
Well, he doesn't know it yet.
Well, he doesn't know that. But Chiron's like, "Curses, Kronos, you added another chess piece to the mix." Because, so it's like Chiron was not happy that Talia was back.
Because Kronos played him.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's kind of
But
rude.
Yeah,
she's coming back from death. And he's like, Damn it.
But also in the movie, I'm pretty sure Annabeth says something about Talia's back. And then, like, Percy goes up to her and starts talking to her, and she's like, "Well, I'm Talia." I'm like, "You were just told this, Percy."
But yeah, so Kronos set up this whole plan so that there are more.
There are two children of the big three now.
Yeah. And I have not read anything further.
Well, there may or may not be more children.
That's what I thought.
Oh. Well,
have you read the new ones where he's in college?
No, I don't own that one. I have the Apollo one, the Trials of Apollo. And I got like one chapter in, and then I just procrastinate. Yeah, I want to continue because there's two. I think it's a trilogy as well. And then they just came out with the college series like a year or two ago.
I was at Target the other day and I saw Percy Jackson and I was like, "What, did they just revamp the cover?" And I picked it up and I read the back and I was like, "No, this is new." I was like, "What?"
Because I've read the Egyptian ones. I read the Norse.
Was that one good?
Yeah,
the Red Pyramid or whatever.
Yeah, I think the first one's the Red Pyramid. I've read all. There's 3 books. I don't remember the names off the top of my head. I like them. I think in general people think
Didn't.
of them as lesser to Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
And then there's the heroes of Olympus, which is
Mhm.
the Roman versions of the Greek gods.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're
That's the like Mark of Athena and Son of Hades and all that, right?
Yes.
Because I own that series. It's literally on my bookshelf right now, and I want to read it, but
Yeah, so
don't know how to do it.
it's basically the same gods, but they're Roman
the
alter
Roman.
egos.
I think Cameron liked
Oh.
that one better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's all. I mean, even
Really?
like Annabeth makes an appearance and
Oh,
Percy makes an appearance. So
cool.
like they're connected, definitely.
Oh, I need to read those. Okay.
And then I've seen online, like I've seen ads for
Mhm.
like it looks almost like a Native American mythology one.
Yeah.
I don't know how many books there are, but it looks like there's a young female as
Ooh.
the main character.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Same
But I don't
author.
know. Yeah, same
Oh.
author. So he's got some
Yeah.
He's got
stuff.
He's got a
done
lot
some
of
stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
know if those are connected,
Right.
Mhm.
but they're definitely another mythology.
Yeah. Well,
That's cool.
Yeah.
All
Love
right.
it.
Well, cool.
Okay.
Okay. I have some reading to do.
Yes, you do.
Mhm.
You've got a lot of reading to do.
Yes. All right. So we have IMDb only cast 45 people in this one as opposed to 100 and whatever. And
165. How? That's what I want to know. You're still at the same camp. Like,
they're just like, we're going to save even more money and just get extras that work for free.
we'll just get close-ups of everyone so that the like 3 extras we have on camp can just keep running back and forth.
All right. So we did these last time, but we need to know your
Mhm.
thoughts. Logan Lerman as Percy.
Again, if I didn't know the books, like the age thing,
Yeah.
plays a good Percy for
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
they have.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what-
just the writing that's.
That's what
we
yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. Alexandra.
Daddario.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Annabeth. Same.
I think she's attractive, so yeah. But she's playing like a 13-year-old, so it's weird.
Yeah.
But they're not 13 in the movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
So, then we have Douglas Smith as Tyson.
First off, I don't like him because he's not Tyson. But why does he look like a young Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, with the hairstyle.
He
Yes.
does.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
George of the Jungle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he doesn't talk like the book Tyson.
No.
Exactly. My Tyson would have to be a CGI Tyson, so
Yeah.
that's why
they
I
didn't
wouldn't
recast.
have. Yeah, exactly.
No, I think the only thing they got right was he had a red flannel on. That
Yeah,
They
yeah.
said that in the book. He's got a flannel. And when I
Mm-hmm.
watched the movie, I'm like, okay, he's got a flannel.
Yeah,
That's about it.
that's it. Yeah, I'm like, he's not a tall, big kid that they had to like expand the cab for him to get into.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we have Levin Rambin as Clarice.
Dude, I've met her and I forgot that she was in this movie. And I'm
Oh.
kind of sad.
Where'd you meet her at?
Hunger Games, the premiere.
Why was
Because
she there? Oh,
she's-
duh.
Yeah.
She's Glimmer.
Yeah,
Glitter?
Glimmer or I can't remember what her name is, but she's one of the tributes.
She seemed all right.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't get a whole bunch of screen time. And then
Yeah.
compared to the series, I think that I like the series.
Really?
The cast for the series a little bit better.
Yeah.
She seems more aggressive.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
And in the book,
Right.
she seems.
Oh, I'm
bit
excited
more
for that.
Aggressive towards Percy.
Yeah, in the movie, she just seemed like a mad teenager.
Oh,
Right,
honestly, she
didn't-
seemed like a girl who had a crush on Percy but couldn't like show her true feelings.
Yeah, I could see that. Yep.
She's definitely jealous. Of
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just know her from Grey's Anatomy, and she's Sloane's daughter. So all I could
Mhm.
hear when she was going, she was like, "So I think you're my dad." Like, do you know that scene?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Any Grey's Anatomy fans would know that scene.
Mhm. I would recast the kid that I said earlier from Friends.
Would she be the right age? I guess she would.
That would
by
be the
that
right
time.
age.
By that time, she would be. Okay, then we have Brandon T. Jackson as Grover.
He's all right, I guess.
Mhm.
Like in the books, it seems like Grover's a little bit more like anxious and like
Yeah.
worried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with in the movies, or him specifically, seems more of a comic relief.
So we have Jake Abel as Luke.
again, because they cast everybody so much older,
Yeah.
Mhm.
he's fine as Luke being older, but
Mhm.
it's
I know. I'm interested actually to read it because how old is Luke in this book?
he's just a couple
Yeah,
years
he's
older
only like
than-
15, maybe 14.
Oh,
Because Percy's 13, right? When he gets to the camp of the first year.
I thought he's 12.
12.
Oh, he's 12. So then he's probably 14. 13, 14.
That'd be so interesting. I'm excited to watch the series and
Yeah.
see him. like,
Oh,
young.
wait.
He's like 11 or 12 because the
'Cause-
prophecy is 16 in the 5th
Oh.
book. He's about to turn 16.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
And then every book's a year apart, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited to. I'm so excited to watch the show.
Me too. Me too.
Well, I was surprised. Well, I guess I'm not surprised, but
Mhm.
when they recast Chiron,
I'm
Pierce Brosnan,
shocked.
I know.
he may have been too much money to bring back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like this Chiron.
Anthony Head. Head.
Yeah.
Head. Head.
That's head for sure.
Okay.
He barely had any time in the movie, though. So.
I
Yeah,
know.
exactly. I'm not going to recast him because,
I already.
yeah,
guessed.
Jeff Bridges.
That's what
There
I
we
said
go.
last week. Stanley Tucci, Mr. D.
Ah,
I think he did a good Mr. D.
I
I
love
love him. I literally, when I read Lightning Thief, I kept picturing him in my head and I couldn't remember why. And I just love Stanley Tucci, so I feel like I always superimpose him into books that I'm reading some way. And then when I watched this, I was like, oh, duh.
Did they have Mr. D
No.
in the first movie? Okay, that's
Nope.
what I thought.
Yeah, that's why I, like, when I was reading the book, I was like, oh, yeah, it's Stanley Tucci. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, no, it's not.
All right. Then we have Nathan Fillion as Hermes.
I love him. But like I said, I would have to go with Lynn.
Yeah.
Can I go back a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the movie, Luke mentions he has spies in the camp,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and isn't
Oh,
one of
yeah.
them I can't remember the last name, but it was like one of Hephaestus's kid, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's just what that was
That's
another
another difference.
major difference.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, thank you. 'Cause
Yeah,
We try
would've
and we
yeah.
forget, or then we try and figure out what we've missed, and we'll
Put it in our
recap it.
recaps.
So
And I
you're
think-
helping us.
I think that's part of because at the beginning of the book, there's 2 mechanical bowls, like, and then those birds that are attacking during the race are also made of.
I
metal and
never
stuff.
made that connection.
Oh.
Wow, I feel dumb. How many times have I read that book and I didn't put that together?
Well, that's cool.
I was just like, wow, why is Kronos up in his game with metal stuff? God.
That's fine. Then we have Ron Perlman as Polyphemus, which is the Cyclops. His voice.
Dude, I did not realize that Hellboy was the Cyclops.
It
That's
works.
amazing. Love it.
Oh man. Yeah, I think he did good.
Mhm.
And then on Hermes' little staff, he has 2 snakes, Martha and George, and it's Octavia Spencer and Craig Robinson.
I love them.
I love them so much.
Those are 2 people that I wouldn't expect to be put together.
I know. Perfect.
Which one? Who's Octavia Spencer? Or
She
was she in?
is
She's in the Help.
Oh, okay.
You is beautiful.
You is smart.
smart.
Mhm.
is kind.
You
Yep.
is important.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is her. Yeah. Okay, that's our
Yeah.
cast.
There's our
Okay.
cast. All right. Is the theme of the book and the movie the same?
Not 100%.
Mm-mm.
It's
They have
the
to
same
go get the
kind-
fleece.
They get from point A to point B.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
that makes different
They
detours.
go all over the place.
Yep.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
That's a very good
We're gonna
word.
start doing that from now on, I think. Like, yeah, they got there.
Hey, Cass, do the characters stay true to the movie to how they were written in the book?
No.
No, not at
Not at all.
Uh-uh.
Not in the slightest.
Nope.
All right. Cassidy, what do you prefer?
I prefer the book just because there's a little bit more detail.
Mhm.
And like we mentioned before, there's more character development, like Annabeth, even Tyson's got some
Yeah.
background.
Mhm.
And even, I don't know, like Clarice and it's just everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I also am book.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same as last week, where it's like it is like an apples and oranges thing, where
And-
both of them are good, but not when you compare them.
Yeah.
What's fun? I don't know if I just am really jaded now, but I did not enjoy the movie.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think.
Did you enjoy Lightning Thief? Like, if you tried to take yourself out of the comparing aspect?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. What was different about this?
I don't know. I just feel like
They rushed some of the stuff.
Yeah, it was rushed and kind of like what you've already mentioned. There's no character development, so you're not really tied to anyone. They leave Percy wondering if he's not good enough. Like, there's a bunch of things, and then it's just like, it also felt like at the end they had gotten to the denouement.
Yeah.
But then they kept going there. They're like, oh, here's a fight. Oh, but we should have this fight too. Oh, and this fight. Oh, and this is gonna happen too. Rather than actually like resolving everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
I want to say I'm waiting for the second season, or
Yeah.
say the second book for the series to come out, because they stuck pretty true to the first season.
Yeah, I'm
that's
excited.
Cool. Okay, so that's how they're doing it. This first season is just the first book.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. Would you recommend it to a friend?
I would recommend the book, but not the movie.
I'd recommend both.
I would recommend both, but if you watch the movie first and then read the books,
Yeah.
otherwise you'll be like, what?
Yeah, because this is actually cool because usually you don't want to do that, right? Because you're ruining the book
story
for yourself.
This time, no.
You're not. You're getting two different things.
It's entertaining. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is so good. It's just entertainment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Good background noise, I think.
And it's funny. So the other day when you said, oh man, I'm 10 minutes in and I'm already mad. When I watched it last night, I'm like, okay, what are we getting into? And the very first scene was them doing the like obstacle course, and I was like, oh.
Like, this is what she meant.
I'm like, they didn't even start off at school.
Yeah. I was really excited to hear your thoughts. I was like, oh, good. I'm not going to be the only one very upset.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
okay. We did it.
we did.
All right. You made it on the episode with us.
Thank you for hanging out with us, Cass.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming over at, 10:30 at night.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Go check us out on our website, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Rate us, subscribe, review.
We would absolutely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Love it.
We read our Apple review on our last mini-sode.
Mm-hmm. So if you're that person who left us a review and are like, why are they not reading it?
We did. We promise.
Go listen to that. I almost said go listen to that review. Go listen to that mini-sode.
So anyone else, if you leave us reviews, we'll read those too.
Mm-hmm.
If they're nice.
Yeah, if they're mean, no. I won't read them. I'll read them, but not on the podcast.
So I'm gonna feel like a bad friend, but I follow you guys on TikTok and Facebook.
Yeah.
But are you on Spotify? You said Apple. Okay.
Yeah, we're on
all
Spotify.
over.
All right. I
Yep.
don't have Apple, but I've got Spotify.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on Spotify.
Yes. Come be on our podcast, even though you don't listen to us.
No, I see your clips all the time on TikTok. I just didn't know you had Spotify.
We do. You're like, I'm going to go record this episode and it's getting released nowhere.
Oh my gosh. Well, on Wednesday, we have The Shawshank Redemption. We're in our Stephen King era now.
Spooky season, not during spooky season.
It originally was. Thank you.
Stupid SAG
strike.
strike. Monday, we've got actually a super exciting one because on May 2nd, Turtles All the Way Down just got released to HBO Max streaming. And so Allie and I are covering it.
Like, yeah.
Hot
it
off the press.
just got released. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Uh-huh. And you've already read it, right? It's good?
Yeah, this is my second time reading it. I loved it the first time.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. But
excited.
it's definitely, it's a heavier one
Okay.
than you would think, which is surprising for John Green. But it's like, the character has hardcore OCD in a way that you wouldn't have realized that OCD is like.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm excited to watch the movie. I cannot wait. When I read it, I was like, I hope they turn this into a movie. And then I was like, that might be hard. I don't know if they will.
But
Look
they
at me.
did.
I'm excited.
Okay.
And with that,
The Sea of Monsters.
went off script. Bye.
You just got a new follower on Spotify.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us 5 beautiful stars, reviewed, and subscribed.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Offscript, on Instagram at Offscript Podcast 21, and on TikTok at Offscript_pod.
Shoutouts to Madame Ashen Creations for our adorable logo art.
And Adam Daniel for our incredible theme song.
And to Creative Cinephile Productions for producing our podcast.
See you next time.